Okay, so for this video, we're going to just talk about multiplying two matrices together. I'm just going to do a few examples of this. So I have these four matrices here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to complete these operations of just multiplying the matrices together if possible. So let's just jump right into it. So taking B times A. Okay, so I think in this case, actually, it's very helpful just as a visual marker to write the two matrices down. So let's write those down. So, okay, I wrote the two matrices down, and so now what I'm going to do is I just want to be like visual about this for a moment. So I am going to just make it really clear. So I need to take each element in here. So first row times the first column. So this is how we're going to start. So if I do that, so let's actually just write down what we're adding up together. So I have 2 times 1, so that's going to be 2. And then 1 times -1, so that's going to be really 2 minus 1. And so now I've exhausted all of these entries here by these entries here. So next, I'm going to move down the line. So now I'm just going to keep taking this row, but now I'm going to move to the next column. And so if I take 2 times 2, that's 4. And then I have 1 times 0, so that's going to be plus 0. Okay? And then we're going to move down the line. So I'm going to take this row now times the last column. So I have 2 times 3 is 6, and I have 1 times 1 is 1. So I'm going to have 6 plus 1. And so there is my first column. So let me get rid of all these just so that we can start over. So now we're going to repeat that process, but now we're going to do it with this row here. So I'll just keep the visual markers just for this first example. Okay, so I'm going to take this times this. So -1 times 1 is going to be -1, and 1 times -1 will also be -1, so it's going to be -1 minus 1. Then we'll have this row times this column. So I'm going to have -1 times 2 is -2 plus 0. And then finally, this row times this column. So this will be -3 plus 1. Okay, so there's everything multiplied out. And so that's the process that you're using each time. I'm going to get rid of the rest of these. Okay, and so then it's just, adding everything up together. So let's see, this will be 1, 4, 7, -2, -2, and -2. Okay. And so that would be the answer in that case. Okay, so if that makes sense to you, I would strongly recommend that you try this next one totally on your own. So let's just write down AD again. Okay, so there are my two matrices. So remember, you're going to take now this row times this column and so on and so forth. So pause the video here, give it a try. Remember, math, you learn better when you try it, not just watching videos. So give that a try, hit play when you're ready. Okay, so I am going to not use the visual markers this time. I'm just going to take this row now times this column, and I'll write out what we have. So let's see. So I have 1 times 1, which is 1, 2 times 0, which is 0, and 3 times 2, which is 6. So there is each entry here times each entry here. Now I'll take this row times the last column. So 1 times 0 is 0, 2 times 1 is 2, and 3 times -1 will be -3. Next, we're going to move here times here. So I have -1 times 1, so that's -1. 0 times 0 is 0. And 1 times 2 is 2. And then this column times this, this row times this column is what I meant to say. So this will be 0 plus 0 minus 1. So if I complete my row operations, I have 7, -1, 1, and -1. Okay, cool. So now let's just pivot to this last one. So I've got A times B. So once again, I'm just going to write both of these down. And so just as a visual reminder, so remember, I'm taking this row times this column. And what you'll notice here is that I don't have enough, I have too many entries in my row to match up with the columns. So when that happens, then this would be not possible. So it's when you have more entries than you have in one matrix than you have in the other. So that's the way that that's going to work. So it's really important that you kind of know how the row by column operations work, so that you can figure out what's possible and what's not. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this video. If you found that helpful, I'd love it if you hit the like button or subscribe to the channel. And otherwise, I will talk to you guys in another video. Bye!